Hello, welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Today's show is Heated Rivalry, the unauthorized musical parody playing at the Culture Club, which used to be the McKittrick Hotel where Sleep No More played. But before I get into this queer, campy, crazy parody, please take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Please leave me a comment. Even if it's nonsense, hey, I speak nonsense as well. I'm fluent in it. And also, I love when you guys can have a discussion about theater, because I know a lot of you who watch this love theater as much as I do, and I love to read your comments and see the discussions that are going on down in the comments. Okay, let's jump into this. What did I know about Heated Rivalry? Well, I have not seen the television show. That it comes out of Canada, I believe. I'm familiar, I've heard of it. I know the general idea. Two competing hockey players have a romance and a fling and a lot of internal homophobia. And I knew J. Armstrong Johnson, who I've seen in Broadway. I'm really impressed with his work and who was in this. And also Ryan Duncan, a friend and someone who I've loved all of his work throughout his career. I knew he was in this as well. This is only a 5-person cast. And the show, book, music, and lyrics are written by Dylan MarcAurele. Dylan, I know one show that he wrote called Lewis Loves Clark, which examines the relationship between those two explorers. And I know that was making the rounds. It won the Rodgers Award. It was presented at NAMT, the National Alliance of Musical Theater. He's also won the Jonathan Larson Grant, and he's written about 10 shows. He's had shows that have been successful at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival and also played in London. And so this guy's been working for a while. He's also written several other parodies. He wrote one about the Housewives, and he wrote one about Meghan. So Dylan was really poised to turn this thing out quickly, in which he did, because I think the success of this show, it's doing very well. It's been playing off Broadway. The night I went, it was sold out, really enthusiastic crowd. And I think the success of this show is not only because the material is strong, but also the timing. The first season of Heated Rivalry wrapped up in December of last year, and this show opened in May of this year. 5 months. That's incredible. And I think it helps that Dylan had written parodies, he knows how to write fast, and he's a one-man band. And he's strong at all areas with this kind of parody show. This was his opportunity, and I think this is his most successful show to date. So let's jump into this. What is this show about? Kind of already mentioned it. It's about two rival hockey players. You've got a Canadian and you've got a Russian. The Canadian's got a homophobic mother, and so he's dealing with feelings of homosexuality. And the Russian, they have names, but I'm going to just call them the Canadian and the Russians. The Russian also has a father who's very ill and is also homophobic, and he fears that his mother may have committed suicide when she realized that he was possibly gay. It's a boy gets boy, boy loses boy, boy gets boy kind of story. And I feel like this material is really perfect to be a gay, campy parody, which is what this is. So let's do some positives and negatives. Positives, the cast is fantastic, especially our two main guys are really incredible. That's J. Armstrong Johnson and Jimin Moon. Both handsome, both fit, both sexy, and very funny and great voices. The voices across the board are incredible in this show. So this show is scrappy. It is on a shoestring budget. It's a very small stage. It's flying by the seat of its pants, which, as you can imagine, having been written so quickly and thrown up, it's incredible that they've written something so cohesive and funny and rehearsed it and put it up in such a short amount of time. So the cast is definitely a plus in this, incredible voices. The songs are pop musical theater. You know, it's not only a parody of the television show Heated Rivalry, it's also a parody of musical theater. I left humming Taylor Swift. So he's pulling from pop music and musical theater. And so a lot of this is a game similar to Schmigadoon, is where you're going, what is he parodying there? The cast is really game for this. I noticed that J. Armstrong Johnson is listed as one of the producers. So they got some skin in the game on this, and they're doing great work on that tiny little stage. The director is Alan Kliffer. I think the direction is really smart, moves at a clip. The director came up with some interesting ideas to kind of change up the pace of the show as we move throughout. They did a smart thing of including a moment where there's some audience interaction. They have a lot of visual jokes with the set pieces. It's all very fun, campy, and clever. So just because I love to be a little critical, and this thing was put up quick, so it's not a perfect show. Some things I think it's Ryan Redmond who starts out the show, and she's playing this character of Susan that represents all of these women who love heated rivalry. And I thought this was a really smart way to start the show, of kind of giving us a framework of seeing the show through the eyes of its most fervent followers. And we all as an audience become Susans who really love heated rivalry. And I have to say, Ryan Redmond just cracked me up with her accent. I don't know if this was on purpose or if if it was slipping away from her. She kind of started out like in Minnesota, and then she moved up into Canada, and then she kind of went to Quebec for a while, and then she jumped over to Ireland for a little bit. Her accents were sending me, because I had no idea. I was like, where is this woman? But she's funny. They're all very funny in this. I did feel, though, that, these three who are playing all the other characters, I especially felt the women could have made a little bit bigger choices with some of the characters, because there's room for really campy things. I think especially Cherry Torres, who plays the homophobic mother of the Canadian, and she also plays Svetlana, the girlfriend of the Russian. I thought she could have even gone in even farther with those characterizations of what it means to be like a sexy Russian girlfriend, hooker, what, I don't know. I thought she could have really gone in a direction with some of those characters, and also maybe made the mother even really awful. It's interesting, what's the most successful parody right now is Titanic on Broadway. So one thing that I know that Titanic does so well is the physical comedy. Now, granted, Titanic has had years and years of development, but because Titanic doesn't have songs that have funny lyrics like Heated Rivalry, they have to really rely on this broad physical comedy. And I wish this show had a little bit more of that physical comedy. But I think as it continues, hopefully they can find more opportunities to be really over the top with the physicality. The style of the songs in this are all very contemporary electropop musical theater. It's kind of straddling between pop music and musical theater, which I think is really appropriate for the kind of work that Dylan is doing. But a lot of these songs are very dense lyrically, and it's just joke, 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 joke. He's swinging a lot, and I can get a little word weary because it's just constantly double entendres, and then sometimes just straight up raunchy, on the nose, we're gonna sing about anal sex kind of songs going on in this. And so most of the humor really comes from those two places, from the double entendres or just from the shock value of doing musical theater and singing about sex. And he swings a lot and he hits a lot. He makes a few home run jokes throughout the show, and they're spread out. I had some really big laughs just spread out throughout the show. But there are a lot of times where he swings and misses, but he swings very often. And I did feel, though, after a while, this show is only 75 minutes, which it should not be a minute longer than that for this kind of parody. We were kind of playing the same jokes over and over again. That being said, Dylan does find a way to basically use every sexual double entendre you can think of in this score. And, there's a song about heavy load, and so that's more of the double entendres, but then they've got songs with, like, why doesn't he F me like he used to? This is very dirty, very queer, very raunchy, very chaotic, but yet there is some heart because it's based on this show where these characters actually do have this love and this relationship, and I thought it really finds this fine line between the parody and also the heart in the show. I also, I don't think I'm ever going to watch the television show Heated Rivalry. It just doesn't really appeal to me. So honestly, a 75-minute parody musical is a perfect way if you don't feel like sitting through a whole season of a television show. I thought this was great. Now I understand what everybody's talking about, and I had a good laugh at the same time. As I mentioned, I went into this not having any context for the show, and I really enjoyed it. I'm sure there are some Easter eggs and jokes in there that I might have missed, but I wasn't aware of it. I seemed to understand all of the laughs that the play was getting. Oh, one more thing I just wanted to say. This is so funny. Wait, is this a spoiler? Well, I have a criticism at the same time, a small critique, not a criticism, small critique here, but a hilarious through line is that the Russian has been saddled with this terrible burden of having a huge badonkadonk, having a huge ass. And so I thought this was just a funny through line about this heavy cross he has to bear. They padded his butt a little bit, but I wish they would have really padded. They should have done something like drag queen padding. I would have loved if his ass was just huge. Minor quibble, but that was a really funny through line, which I assume is not from the television show. It's just something that the writer must have noted watching the actor playing it, who now I feel like I should go Google. Was I bored? Was I confused? I wasn't bored or confused, but got a little weary of the constant lyric pace and this kind of similarity to the jokes that they were doing, but that's kind of par for the course. But because of that, that's why I said I don't think this show should be a minute longer than it already is. It could even maybe be a few minutes shorter. So just got a little tired with the repetitiveness and, you know, not confused at all despite not knowing the show, which I think is a really positive thing about this show, that I think you can enjoy this without having seen the television show. But I think it probably really does help if you're a fan of the TV show. And also considering how quickly the show came out, and it's running through September. It's a perfect summer show. I think it was perfect that it came out right when Pride began. Very smart just with the timing of the show. Really, really smart for the writer and the producers on this. I think this is really geared towards a gay audience, but also towards women. You know, they tell us that it's middle-aged women who really enjoy this gay romance. Judging from the laughs, there was a lot of women in the crowd. There was also a lot of gay men. So, hey, middle-aged women and gay men, that's about 95% of the theater-going audience in New York. It's no surprise that the show is as successful as it is. So if you fit in those demographics, you probably should go check this out. I'm sure if you're a fan of the show, you've already seen it. I would love to hear your thoughts below. Yeah, so I got a ticket. You know what's funny is I wanted to see this show. I was interested in it, despite having not seen the TV show. And I reached out to the press agent, didn't hear back, and I was like, I guess they don't want me. But then one of the producers reached out to me on social media and said, hey, we've extended the show through November 1st. Do you want to come see it? And I was like, absolutely, thank you. So he got me a great ticket, front row, which was good because this lyric pace is so fast. Being that close really helped me not get lost in the lyrics because I could see the lips. Almost tripped J. Armstrong Johnson at one part. You can't extend your legs out if you're on that front row. Just so you know, this is a small stage and they walk up and down the aisles and they use the whole space. There's not really a rake to this. It's a wide space. So comment below if you've sat in other places in the theater and if you felt there was an issue. The stage is raised, so I think sitting further back, you just won't be able to see their shoes. And let me tell you, they're on a shoestring budget, so you don't want to see the shoes. All right, so you can see the crunchy wigs. But you know what, that being said, I'm not criticizing this for being on a shoestring budget. It actually adds to the charm of the show. This show has a thrown together feel about it, and that's really part of the charm of it. Okay, so where can you get your tickets? There are $49 Rush tickets on TodayTix, so get on there and get yourself a Rush ticket. I've also seen this on TDF, and the ticket prices from the box office start around $40. So this is a very affordable show. If this sounds interesting at all to you, then go check it out. All right, thanks for watching my review of Heated Rivalry. Go check this show out if you like parodies and campy gay fun. I'm sure you'll have a good time. Come back. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the show. Would love to start a discussion about it. And I hope you won't be bored or confused. Bye.
Don't bore me, don't confuse me. If you do, then you'll lose me. Don't wanna drift away, wanna stay inside the play. Keep me